Y'all, welcome back to another episode of Cocktail Hour. I am Meg.
And I'm Nikki. And if you are a vendor heading to a wedding this weekend, this episode is dedicated to you.
Now, today we're talking about film gear and giving a little bit of an update on our current wedding day kits, what we like, what we don't like. I think Nikki and I are both in the same boat that we love the newest, flashiest, like, ooh, let's see if this works in our workflow. And I will abandon something pretty quickly if it doesn't fit in seamlessly to my workflow. So we'll talk a little bit about that. But before we do, it's been a minute. It's been about a week and a half since we've recorded, and I have a paragraph of things.
I'm writing notes right now. I have not written a single thing. I can't even gather my thoughts, and
I think here's my thing, though, is I can't tell. I would love to hear from the listeners. Are you sick of my shit? Are you like, Meg, you have way too much to say every week? Like, there's no way that this much stuff happens.
I think it's great.
I get nervous. But here's what literally happens is something pops into my head. I immediately pull up my document and just put a sentence in there just because I got too much time on my hands, I think. But special shout out before we even get started into everything. So I go into National Camera Exchange to buy a new camera the other day, and I'm yapping with the guy who's checking me out, and I'm just we're talking a little Fuji film, and I'm like, how much do those cameras go off the shelves, or like, do people not like them? I'm really struggling with the color science behind them, whatever. I'm talking to this guy, and then there's a big old man, and I mean that in a really nice way. He's like a big guy,
like Santa.
No, like I don't. The worst part is I know he's gonna listen to this, so I don't know how to say this. But like, he's a bit like tall. I don't want to call him like a Dothraki because that's so maybe
crazy.
I know that's such a. But he's like a big, tall, like guy.
For those of you who don't know what a Dothraki is, it's from Game of Thrones. Okay,
but I just needed to make sure I was making the distinction.
It's not a race of people.
No. But I needed to make sure. I didn't mean he was a big guy like Santa.
Okay,
he was like tall and like wide, and you know what I mean. Anyways,
but you say old big guy, then I think Santa. You said an old big guy.
Then I take back old. I think I meant to say like old, like I have no idea. Okay, but the big old guy, he's got his back turned toward me.
Big old guy.
And hey, Aaron, I know you're probably listening to this, but all of a sudden he turns and he looks at me, and then he just like fully turns. Hold on.
I know what you're gonna say, but then I have a follow-up question.
He fully turns and like puts his back on the counter, and I like kind of look at him. I'm like,
hello.
Is this guy about to fight me? Like, what's going on? And he smiles. He goes, by the way, I'm a huge fan of the pod. And I go, excuse me?
My question is this the same Aaron who commented on the YouTube?
About buttholes.
Yes.
The way that, and I did not know that during this interaction, but he turns, he says, I'm a huge fan of the pod, by the way. And I look at him. I literally like gasp. I go, no, I go, no fucking way. I said, how do you know? And he said, I could tell from your voice. And he's like, I've commented a few times. We didn't like get into it or anything. He's like, I'm a big fan. And then the employees were asking just about like what you and I talk about. And he just starts laughing. He's like, I mean, they're wedding photographers, but he's like, they talk about everything. And we had a good laugh about it. But he said, I just appreciate, he said, I've been in the wedding world for 20 years and I've never come across a podcast like yours.
Fun.
I almost cried. Actually, I did cry once I got back to the car.
You cried in the car.
Adam like grabbed onto my thigh and he was like, that was really nice. Like that was really so cool. Nice. And I was like, shut up. I got to text Nikki. So then I start to deep dive because I'm like, okay, who's commenting? Like, because it's not like we're inundated with comments. So I go through and I go to our first video and I see that Aaron analog and I go, and I click on it.
Immediately thought of that.
And it was his face and I go,
that makes so much sense.
So shout out to you. I did follow him on Instagram. I have a new phone that's not signed into the Cocktail Hour podcast account. Otherwise, I will eventually follow you on that as well. I'm having a stroke. But anywho, so shout out to that. That made me feel really, really so nice. Fun. Okay, a couple other things that I came across this week that I think are worth chatting about. So I'm starting to see this ad on, now number one, maybe TikTok thinks I'm a broke bitch or something, but I keep seeing this ad for Bridget, which is...
Never seen her.
Well, not a girl. It is like bridging your finances from like Wednesday to Friday when you get paid. They give you up to $250.
Oh, I've heard of those ads like now, when I listen to pods.
Yeah, and I go, look. And the specific ad I saw, Nick, was for ice cream.
I'm going to pause you really quick.
Yeah.
Because I'm pulling up, shout out to at Aaron Analog 1 on YouTube. You calling him a dothraki?
I was just trying to say he's tall, not big fat guy.
I just like pulled up his picture and I'm like, this is so funny. Aaron, we love you. Shout out.
He's like a Dothraki dad. He's a cutie pie.
Yeah.
He's super nice too. Okay. So anyways, this Bridget ad, but this is how the ad goes. It goes, are you trying to get ice cream, but you don't have any money? Bridget, get money now. For ice cream? You're
absolutely not getting an advance on my fucking paycheck to get ice cream.
Yeah. A short-term loan.
Nobody is.
For ice cream.
Let's be fucking for real.
Well, okay, but that is the thing, is we have gotten to a place where people are making, let's say you make $100 and you spend $80 on DoorDash. But I'm like, there's a reason that ad is out there. Like, they've done some sort of marketing, some sort of like analytics that people want what they want in the moment, even if it's as small as a fucking ice cream cone. And I'm like, you guys, these are short-term loans that have such high interest rates. You take out $250, you probably pay back $350.
That's so sad.
For your ice cream. And I just thought that was so fucked, because did you ever watch that Keke Palmer SZA movie? Where they're like trying to pay rent, essentially. It's like a day full of them. Yeah.
But I didn't finish it. But I know what you're talking about.
It wasn't the best movie. But there's a couple scenes where they're at a payday loan place and Cat Williams is like a homeless person walking by and he's like, if you can't afford it today, you can't afford it tomorrow. Do not. And I'm speaking from experience, by the way. When I was like 19 years old, I was like, oh, yeah, I just like a $500. That'll get me through the month. I think I ended up spending or paying $1,800 total for shit like that.
Well, it's like kids who get credit cards when they turn 18. Like, that's what I did. And you know what I got? I got fucking hair extensions for $600 on my $700 credit card.
Mine was Victoria's Secret.
Yeah.
And I just got like so much Love Spell that I think it expired after a while. I never used it.
So good.
That used to be my jam. Okay, finally watched Sinners.
Oh, okay. Thoughts.
So here's what I'll say. I did make the mistake of editing while I watched it.
Okay.
Because I'm just in that season of life where I pretty much at any given time I have to be editing, but I also would like to consume the content that I've been meaning to. So we sat down to watch Sinners.
In here?
No, downstairs in the basement. And phenomenal. Different
very
than what
well
I
done
thought.
movie. Yes.
Different than what I thought. The whole like ending with him like burning to whatever. If you haven't seen it, that's your problem. But it was very like, I was like, oh, this is like a horror, but not just like thriller, but like this is really, but the end scene during the credits.
Yeah. Yes. Right.
The movie shut off and I just started weeping.
Oh.
I just started weeping. I was like, number one, I'm very shocked that that's just not the ending of the movie. Because if I would have walked out when the credits started and missed that part in the theater, I would have been livid. You have to watch like 5 minutes of credits to get to that part. It's not, to me, it's not an Easter egg. It's like the ending of the movie.
Yeah, it's the official ending.
Yeah, but I just, whenever I think about it or that old man's voice comes back in my head, like, I literally cry so hard, and I see these TikToks with his voice, and last time I seen the sun, last time I see my brother, I literally will start crying, and I have no idea why. None of my siblings are dead. Like I'm not like thinking about anybody. I just think it's so sad. I could cry right now. Anyways,
I think I got the same exact manicure you did.
Wait, is it tortoiseshell on top?
No, is yours?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, mine's not.
Is it brown?
It's like a burgundy.
Like a burgundy.
Brown.
I like it. Twinsies.
Just saw your fingers and I was like, love.
But yeah, overall, really great movie. Haley, is it
Steinfeld? Yeah.
Okay. Get it, girl. I really liked her in that movie. I thought she did a great job.
I really like her. She's the one who sings that song, I love me, I love myself and I don't need anybody else.
I did not know that. I did not know she sang.
She's a singer.
I think the first thing I ever saw her in is I went and saw.
Let me make sure I'm not making this up.
No, you're good. Hold on. She was in a really great movie. Oh, Jeff Bridges.
Yeah, she sings that. She sings a lot of like million billion hits.
True Grit. I was gonna say I saw True Grit with my dad back in 2010. With Jeff Bridges, and Haley Steinfeld was like a kid in that, and she did such a good job. I knew she was going to be a star. Yeah. And then obviously Michael B. Jordan times two. He does no wrong. I was
times
like,
two.
But honestly, every actor and actress, like everybody in that movie was so well cast. It was so well done.
I thought it was just a very well done, like cinematic experience, almost to the point where like you don't really see movies like that anymore.
Agreed.
Where it's like just the way that it's shot, the way that it's shown, the way that it's color graded, literally everything about it was just kind of like, oh, wow, this is great. Going off movies really quick, though, I'm constantly thinking about what's the movie you took me to see? I'm constantly thinking about it. I get out of my car late at night. I look around and I think to myself, what if somebody was running at me full speed right now, arms out? Like,
that's so funny.
Like I think about that going to my car this morning. It's pitch black and I'm like looking over my shoulder. The lights won't turn on in the car when I get into them. For some reason, I can't fucking figure it out. It's driving me crazy. It's one of my biggest pet peeves when the lights don't turn on when you open a car door. And I'm thinking like, what if Gladys is in the back?
Definitely
seat?
Different movies between Glinda and Gladys. No, I know it sticks with you a little bit.
I lay down at night, I close my eyes, and I'm like, if I open my eyes, will Glinda be there?
That is so fucking funny. That is so fucking funny.
And it's not even like something that during the movie I was terrified and was like, oh my God, this is the scariest thing ever. But it sticks with you after to where you're like, shit, what if somebody's out to get me?
I meant to actually talk about that on the pod, so I'm glad you bring this up. So Nikki and I go see Weapons, and I think because we're in some sort of media that we do pay more attention to like how something's cut together, how it's color graded. Like, do I feel like I'm being jerked back and forth between POVs, blah, blah, blah. I look over at Nikki, and mind you, this is the second time I've seen this movie, and I'm covering my eyes. I'm looking away. I'm covering my ears. I don't even want to hear this shit. And I look over at Nikki. She is balls deep in this movie, eyes wide open. She's not closing them. And I'm looking at her, and I'm like, how are you not? She's like, well, the point is to watch the movie. I'm like, I'm so terrified that I simply cannot. So I'm not surprised. You know why? It's because there are things in that movie I still haven't seen because I close my eyes.
That's funny. That's an excellent point.
The entire time that James Brolin is like in his son's bedroom and he's like, you know, whatever his son's name is. And I'm sure that, like, I'm sure you see Matthew. Yeah. I'm sure you see Gladys at some point in that,
in the bed.
I don't know. I don't know what it looks like because I shut my eyes. You know why? Because I'm a smart person.
Because I'm a pussy.
I am a pussy. But now I don't wake up, thinking that Gladys is going to be there.
Did you hear last episode? I literally have lived paranormal experiences. I've probably been possessed.
Probably.
So I really am like, Gladys.
I do hope they do an origin story.
I thought they were.
I think there was talks.
Heard that.
Yeah. I will go see it. I won't be happy about it.
I will gladly go see it.
But here's what I'll say. If I feel invested in something, even if I know I'm not going to like it because, like, I'm a big bitch baby, I'll still see something. And that is actually how Adam and I started dating. Did you ever see Hereditary?
Yes. When the first time I watched Hereditary in my home, which, like, now I'm embarrassed about this because then I rewatched it. I thought it was the scariest movie I'd ever seen.
Yeah.
I watched it with this was at the time when I was in my church cult, and I watched it with so very interesting because it's like very satanic.
Yeah, typically
demonic.
I feel like people do not watch stuff like
that. They don't. You shouldn't. You should see my mom even to this day. If there's ever like a satanic movie, she'll start praying, and I'm like, just turn it off. Just fucking shut Netflix off. I don't know what you're doing. But yeah, it was, and I turned all the lights on in the house after, literally blessed my house, started praying for my home because I was like, what? We sat in silence and we're like, what the fuck did we just watch? Yeah. And then I told Craig and a couple friends of mine, like, years later,
Yeah.
recent
I still think
years,
it's the scariest movie I've ever seen.
No, I said, you guys, we have to watch Hereditary. It's the scariest movie I've ever seen. They looked at me like, and then I watched it and I was like, okay.
Yeah, here's my thing though. I do disagree. The first time you watch something, I think that's the true. Yeah, but if you know what's coming, even this time around with Weapons, it was less scary because I knew. I'll give you an example: the car scene where you hear like the door open.
Yes.
As fucking creepy as that was, I knew it was coming. I knew that she would be fine. So I was like, okay, my heart's not racing as much.
You still covered your eyes though. I
didn't,
was looking at you and I was like, should I be covering my eyes?
I didn't. I don't like looking at things, but the reason that Adam and I are together is I went and saw Hereditary with an ex, and I remember going into it, and he was like, yeah, I hear it's like this cinematic movie of the year, but he was leaving out the word like horror, you know, stuff like that. So I was like, yeah, let's go. We got in there. The scene happened in the car, and a whole row of people left. They were like, we're out. I even heard someone literally audibly say like, oh, hell no. And they left the theater. This movie has scarred my soul, but I thought it was so well done and so just like scary. I love A24 movies and I love Ari Aster. So I was like, when Midsummer with Florence Pugh was coming out, I was no longer in a relationship. I wanted to see it, but I didn't want to see it alone. And Adam had just gotten out of a relationship. We in no way were romantic, but I said, hey, I want to see this movie, but I don't want to see it alone. At that time, I didn't really have like girlfriends that I would ask.
Yeah.
And so I was like, can you just see this movie with me? Like, we go, weirdest movie ever. Great movie.
Very interesting film.
Yeah, but less horror and more like, oh my God. I mean,
yeah.
I should
more
say less
shock
scary.
Factor.
Yes. Less like suspense,
jump scares,
exactly,
and stuff like that.
Really well done. Love Florence Pugh, love Ari Aster. But then Adam and I went and had drinks afterwards, and then just started hanging out. Like had such a fun time.
Interesting. That was the first movie.
Yeah, so that's what brought us together. I get ads for A24 coffee table books, and I really want the Midsummer one.
That would be so cool.
I think that would be like a fun thing to have at the house and very.
I think that's great. Going off of the horror theme though, have you watched Ed Gein?
No.
And speaking of, this is why I thought of it, because you said people were leaving the theater. Okay. You have to watch Ed Gein.
Have you watched the whole thing?
Yes.
Okay.
So we're on like the very last episode. We have literally like 4 minutes left. It's very interesting. One thing I will say though is that like,
how do you have 4 minutes left of something?
Here's the thing. I have 4 minutes left of another show too, and it's actually pissing me off that I just did that to myself twice in a row in 1 week. Because I have been watching while editing as well.
Yeah, that's fair.
But the other show is called The Girlfriend. By the way, wonderful show. You need to watch it. It is on Prime Video. It is so fucking good. If anybody likes
I do like all of these actors.
But if you like kind of what's that one show called? The White Lotus. It's not like similar, but it gives me White Lotus vibes in a way. But holy fucking shit. This movie, the only way that I can, or this show, The Girlfriend, the only way that I can describe it is that it reminds me of like reading a really good book.
Ooh, we love
and like
that.
You want to keep reading and figuring it out, and you can't really figure it out. And even at the end, you still kind of have to make the decision, which, like I said, I have 3-4 minutes left of it. It's pissing me off. It's dumb, but it's super good. And it's very, very well done as well. And all of the acting in it is very good, and that makes a difference.
It does, and it's got 90% on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't know about you, but typically Rotten Tomatoes is my
spot on.
Like
it's pretty.
That's
spot
the
on.
people.
Yes,
it's not Roger Ebert, whatever.
It's very good, and I'm surprised that more people are not talking about this motherfucking show. And so back to Ed Gein. I really think that what bothers me. So, in one way, it's great. In another way, I'm struggling with shows that are loosely based on real characters, real people, but they go so far off script that it's not true stories anymore. So because something is loosely based, that means that they can throw things in there that aren't true. And so I'm watching it with Craig and with my mom, and they're both like, oh my gosh, should this really happen? And I'm like, no, because I've Googled it.
Yeah.
Like, because I'm Googling as I'm watching.
Can you give an example? Because I'm curious what they're adding to this. I
Oh,
feel like he did enough to
sexual aspect of it, like relationally. And truthfully, so he's in the show, it's portraying that he has a sexual relationship with a few people, which he claims he never had. But with
consensual
one specific victim of his, consensually kind of making out this victim to be a harlot, like big town slut who has, you know, carrying diseases and shit. And I'm thinking, like, if I was this person's family who was this,
I'd be
the
pissed.
woman who was murdered and who was the reason why he was caught was because she was found. And this is no secret. So if you haven't watched the show and you don't know anything about Ed Gein, then that's on you, baby girl, because it's very
fast forward a little.
It's very well known information that this woman was found hanging from his rafters, slit open, almost like a butchered pig, decapitated. And this is the character that they're sexualizing in the show and saying had a, like, yes. And so I'm watching
For the listener,
this,
I wish you could see my fucking face.
and it's kind of pissing me off. I'm like, okay, Ryan Murphy, like,
are we trying to not justify, but like...
No, but we're sexualizing serial crimes, serial killers. And I don't like that.
For the sake of entertainment.
I'd rather be more scared and less, like, ooh.
Yeah.
Questionable. Also, love Charlie Hunnam. I do think he did a great job. However, I don't know if Ed Gein's, you know, he's from Wisconsin, middle of Wisconsin. His accent, right?
Yeah. I have seen, like, people making fun of the voice a little.
I get that that's how maybe he spoke.
Yeah.
The accent at times, though, to me sounds like an Irish accent.
Gotcha.
Because it's so heavily, like, trying to pour into it so hard. Anyway, I think the show in and of itself, though, is a very interesting watch because it's not just... Did you ever watch Dahmer?
No.
So Dahmer was more like just followed the storyline. This, because Ed Gein had psychosis, which was mistaken as schizophrenia for so long, because he had this psychosis, I think they're playing into his psychosis so much that they're trying to portray what it could feel like for somebody who has psychosis. And, like, so in the show you're watching and you're like, is this real? Is this not real? Is this a figment of his imagination? And then you realize quickly, like, okay, a lot of this is, like, maybe what he was seeing or imagining.
Speaking of something really quick, totally off topic.
Thank God. Thank God. Get it off. Like, what is it?
You know who that guy from the bar,
Terrence?
No.
The bartender?
No, the guy that we were chatting with. The
bald guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know who his face reminds me of? It just hit me when we were talking about it in Weapons, the cop.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Okay.
For some reason I, like, was picturing the movie Weapons and, like, the scenes that I like, whatever, and I was like, oh, that's what that motherfucker reminds me of.
Isn't that so interesting? Okay, I had a bride once who I was like, this girl, either I know her from somewhere or she just looks so crazy like somebody else. And then I saw an ad for Grey's Anatomy for the actress Kate Walsh.
Yeah.
Doctor, I don't know, something with an A. She was married to McDreamy. Addison.
Montgomery.
Looks identical to her.
Really?
And I was like, oh my gosh, like, you are a doppelganger. This is crazy. You have a doppelganger. You guys look identical, but it just happens sometimes where you're looking at somebody and you're like, how do I either know you or where 100%. Do you look familiar from? Speaking of that night out, I just think, like, we gotta chill. We have no fucking chill. These videos Meg sent me, we went out the other night. Or maybe we already talked about this, but
we did briefly.
I just looked back. Like, you had sent me 2 videos after we were, like, already home or whatever. And I was just like, Jesus Christ.
Do you want to talk about what the videos were?
Like, that's one of the videos.
Yeah, I was literally going to the bathroom and I looked down at my hand and I go, why do I have Nikki's phone in my hand? I maybe thought I grabbed mine, or maybe I had yours in my purse. I don't know. But then the second video I sent you was
me peeing in the bushes.
Nikki really had to use the restroom, and
I'm on a diuretic, guys.
We're literally right by 1029 if you know anything about the Twin Cities, and she just popped a squat, and I was so nervous. I was like, this is what ICE is going to come for you.
No, literally, Meg is like, what are you doing? Where are you going? And I'm like, bitch, people seeing coochie and I'm behind bushes. It's fine. Nobody can see me. And then the last one, I must have been blacked out because I don't remember.
What's the last one?
The Uber. I'm like, literally, there's nobody home in my eyes.
No,
I'm
you're
surrounded
gone.
by these random drunk men.
Some guy has his belly out.
His belly is out, and I'm looking at him with disgust. And like, I'm sorry, put it away. Nobody asked to see your tits, okay? No. So I just look at them
so
and I'm
funny
like, did you guys get an Uber?
Mind you.
And then I asked them repeatedly, like, do you guys
Oh yeah,
sleep
are you
with
guys
each other?
together?
You guys together? Men hate that, and I love it.
But definitely one of them was gay and then one of them was straight, I think.
I don't think I think they were both straight.
Oh, were they? Oh, one of them definitely was not giving. Oh, okay. Well,
Exactly. Well,
he's
maybe
very pretty.
Yeah. Okay.
He like, yeah. Anyways, how am I supposed to know? I don't go out.
How
Literally,
am I supposed to know?
literally, Adam was out of town, and this was the first time in my life I've ever been like, "Hey, Nikki, want to grab drinks? Like, let's go grab a drink." As a 32-year-old, let's go grab a drink. And we can't handle ourselves.
Which there's nothing wrong with that.
Oh,
As
no.
a 32-year-old, like
No. I just don't do it.
I loved it.
It was a good time.
I'll never say no.
I was just surprised you
It's true.
responded. For anybody that's not friends with Nikki, it's a hit or miss if this bitch is gonna respond to anything.
Literally takes me a long time to respond. I'm off.
What I do know is I think about the million things that you're doing. And so, like, I don't take it personally. I'm like, and if I really need you to respond, I will text you, I will DM you, I will call you. Like, I'll figure it out. I'll fucking knock on your door. But anyways, okay, I was at a coffee shop the other day.
Okay.
And I don't know about you, but, like, I put my headphones in. I'm listening to Beyonce. Like, I'm jamming out a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, I cannot just sit still and work. I'm like, no, hands are moving. Oh, type. Now hands are moving again. Now I'm bobbing
I do
along.
that in the store, like anywhere.
Yeah, but I'm looking at everybody and they're like so focused in on their work. And I was like, maybe I'm the odd one out, that I look like an idiot. Like I'm trying to perform for you all, but really I'm just a performer. I don't know what to say.
I'd rather be fucking weird than boring.
Yeah. Like, how am I not supposed to shake my shoulders?
Speaking of coffee shops.
Yes.
Spy House is no longer a small business.
I saw that.
I reposted that on TikTok.
Maybe that's how I saw it.
I think that's how you saw it.
Because I purposefully went to Dogwood the other day instead of Spy House.
Thank you. Yeah, you had texted me one day and was like, hey, I'm going to Spy House. And then you probably diverted your direction. But just to the listener, Spy House has been bought up by a large corporation that apparently buys up coffee shops throughout the United States, but purposefully keeps the branding and the look of the coffee shop as is, so that people are not aware that it is now a large corporation run coffee shop. It's no longer a small business.
So
just throwing that out there.
Dogwood Coffee.
Yeah, support small
It's right there.
businesses. There's plenty
Diamonds
in the Twin Cities.
Yeah.
Like, just I would support local. Support
You know what
small.
I will say though? You know, if this corporation could come in and have
swoop us up,
swoop Spy House up and fix their coffee, because I really like. Well, their coffee's not my favorite thing.
That's probably why it's gone to shit, though, is because it is owned by a large corporation.
I've always hated Spy House coffee. I got to be honest. I've always felt like it tasted burnt.
How long have you been going there?
Since I've lived here, which is like 6 years.
But I don't know how they might have been.
That's true. Maybe it's just coming out.
It might just have been.
That could be. But yeah, we love Dogwood. I love Diamonds. They're like literally mom and pop little coffee shop. What else? I don't know. Fragment. I'd be really interested in Fragment. They seem very bougie, that I could see them being a little bit more of a corporate thing. Couple of things. I was crying in the car the other day because I realized that there is just a small chance that I could die before the next Beyonce album drops. And that was really upsetting to me. So I'm putting it out into the universe that I would just really love protection because I need to make sure I see this last album.
What if she dies before her next album?
How dare you?
out?
How dare you? Well, no. So Adam and I were driving somewhere, and there's a song Beyonce has on an older album called like "I Was Here," and she's essentially talking about like, I want to be remembered. I want to be remembered for being a good person. I want to be remembered. I was here, and I look at Adam and I start crying and I say, what if on her last tour, the last song she sings was like, "I was here." And I am bawling in the car. And then I look at him and I say, when I die, I want you to play a montage of photos of my life and play this song.
No,
and
play
then,
the montage of photos of Beyonce.
Of Beyonce, yeah. Of me and Beyonce. Just Photoshop them together. But anyways, very impactful song. Everyone should listen to it. What else? I got a new iPhone and a new computer this week.
Yeah, I fucking saw that. Me with my 1996 laptop that keeps shitting out on me. And then I see on your story, you're like, just got a new laptop. And I'm like, this fucking bitch. I don't have a car. I don't have a computer. I'm constantly crying. I need therapy. Papa's fucking old and dying.
Yeah.
I'm losing my shit over here.
Well, if it makes you feel better. I put it on a credit card. I did not pay cash for that laptop. But here's what happens.
I need that.
I met with a really great, like, she's a blogger, interior design, whatever.
I followed her for a long time, actually. On my personal page because of interior design stuff.
She is quite literally the sweetest, but we're going to be working together. And so when I went to her house for coffee, I brought a couple cameras just so I could, like, get some test shots, kind of see, like, based on the space, what focal lengths am I getting, whatever. And I brought my Fujifilm, and these files are so huge. And if anyone's an interior design photographer and you want to hit me up, I would love to get some tips and tricks. But from what I'm seeing in my research is like, let's say you take 30 photos of one space and you're focusing on different things, like literal focus every time. Then you're overlaying these photos in Photoshop or Capture One or whatever. And my laptop it took a half hour just to load these photos up. And I was like, ooh, this is not good. For regular, like wedding photography editing for my Canon, sure.
No,
but I'm like,
mine doesn't.
With this, but I was like, with this, I feel like I need a new laptop. I did get the smallest one they had, like the smallest. The little 14-inch. But I did get the Max 4 Pro chip or whatever. Because I was like, I don't care about the size. I just need like the best processing system.
The fastest system that you have to not let it shit out.
So got that. I did also get another R5 Mark II, but I sold a ton of film equipment.
I saw that.
And I put that money toward the camera. So, I feel less bad about it. Adam, I'm going to talk about this for a second. I'm not going to talk about like exactly what's going on, but he is fine. He had a little like health concern that we were worried about.
Is he fine?
We went to the doctor yesterday, but on our way to the doctor, and let me just say the health concern that he was having at his age, it could be like the thought does cross your mind like cancer. Absolutely, like the big C. We absolutely were like, ooh, okay, this could be bad. So on the way to the doctor, he was like, hey, and like we had a very serious conversation about like, if this is the diagnosis that we get, here are the things that I need us to do in the next couple months. Here are the things that I need you to do if I'm ever no longer around. Like, it got very real, very quick. It was kind of crazy to have that conversation. So, couple things that I will say to people is, number one, you shouldn't shy away from these conversations. It is important, especially if you're in a relationship or you're married. I know it's fucking dumb, but I got this little booklet from Amazon called like I'm Dead Now What, and essentially it's just planning and like here's where all the documents are, here's what the insurance policies are, here, like it's just important to be prepared in case something were to ever happen. Like you don't want to be in a position where someone passes away and you have no idea what to do. You're already like gonna barely be able to pull yourself out of bed, let alone deal with all of this shit. So anyways, we go to the doctor. I'm in the room. Here's another thing. And I know you're going to hate this or you're going to laugh at this. no matter the appointment, we're always in the room together.
You know what's so funny is that the first time we went to Vegas together, I was talking about Craig's doctor appointment, and I was like, yeah, I have to call the doctor and make an appointment. And you go, he can't make his own fucking appointments?
Okay, well.
And then a year later, I hear you go, yeah, I was making Adam's doctor appointment, and I was writing in the notes.
How do you remember these things?
And I was like.
Must have had an impact, which I apologize for. I wonder why. Like, I literally make appointments for this man. Actually, I am annoyed when I have to make appointments for Adam.
I think that's you were probably annoyed for me. Yeah. Being like, why are you?
Yeah.
But then you're like, yeah, I do it too. Yeah. You're probably annoyed for yourself.
100%.
And for me.
If I don't do it, it doesn't get done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll
let himself die.
Well, here's
before
the thing.
He'll make an appointment.
I'm a ZocDoc girly, so like it makes it just really easy to hop on there because his primary care physician
I'm calling
is on there.
5 different places.
No, get on ZocDoc.
Fair. So anyways, we go to the doctor.
And I do not hate that you were in the room. I was in the room when we went to Craig's vasectomy reversal appointment, which we have not done. This was years ago.
It was like a consultation.
But like I was in there, the doctor was feeling him up. I said, drop trow, bitch.
No, that's exactly what this was. She was like, I have to do an exam. I was like, great. And I even asked him, I said, I can leave. And he was like, no. And it doesn't matter the appointment I'm in either. I'm like, no, I would like him in the room. I feel comforted by him. But there have been times where they'll ask him to step out quick because they're checking on me to make sure I'm not like in an abusive relationship. They're like, why is this man always right next to you?
Do they ever ask you to step out?
Which is so funny. If anyone's in an abusive relationship, it's Adam. This man is battered.
Ma'am, can you step out for a moment? We'd like to. Do you feel safe at home?
Yesterday, I thought he made a mistake with a video that we're working on, and I literally walk out of the room and I yell out loud, "This is why you don't hire people who aren't professionals." And I was like, and then he clicked one button and it fixed itself, and I was like, oh,
okay, also though, like that's different. That's business. That's totally different.
I get pretty angry about business very quick. So anyways, new iPhone, really impressed the technology. I had an iPhone 13. And this is a whole new thing.
What number is this now? 16,
17 Pro Max. And very impressed by it. The video, I'm like, oh my God, they took this to another level since the 13. Oh yeah. I'm really enjoying it. I don't think it's much different from the 16. But
why? Hold it up. Why is the back like that on the case?
I don't know. It's so ugly. But I don't know. I will say that I believe.
What is that?
Well, I think that's the flash.
Okay.
I don't know what that is, but
I think the flash is this one.
Yeah.
What's this?
I don't know what
because mine has it too, but it's like way over here.
Let me see it one more
time though. Interesting.
I also just burped into the mic, and I'm not gonna edit that out because I'm too lazy.
Interesting. I would be interested to see how a flash photo takes on that because this on mine, the 16, the flash is right above it.
Yeah.
On yours, the flash is off to the side, which is more like resembling a camera.
Yeah.
Where like, you know.
Well, and it's funny because I think about my camera, like my contacts. Flashes, there's a flat pancake flash and then there's a little block flash. The pancake flash, I did read that because the flash is farther away from the lens, it's a little bit softer and like it just like to have it farther from the lens is better, but I don't know if that's fact. That's just when I was like searching film equipment and blah blah blah. My ears. Oh, I have an appointment on Friday. This ear, what is that? My left ear. There's a problem. If you press on it lightly, it goes and I was like, oh my God. So I call the ENT to get an appointment. She's like, is it happening in your other ear? Like maybe it's maybe you're getting sick. And I was like, no, it's this one ear. It's been a month. Nothing's in there. No, it's not wax or anything like that. I think that I have
your eardrum.
That or like tinnitus I read of. I don't know, but I have the ENT appointment.
Stop Googling shit.
I know. But I am afraid that I've just been, there's not a time, if I'm alone in the car, my radio or my music's maxed out. I do not listen to music not maxed out. And then receptions at weddings.
Receptions at weddings is what? Concerts.
If I have my earbuds in public, they're at max volume. Yeah. I don't want to hear nothing.
One thing really quick I want to call out AMC for.
Yeah.
When we went to go see Weapons.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we could. Yes.
In the most dramatic, like, quiet scenes of the movie, you know what we could hear?
Yeah, we should have looked. What movie were we next to?
Because the theater next door was so fucking loud. It was playing like EDM music too in the worst possible time. Yeah. And I looked over at Meg because truly I didn't know if it was like a part of the movie. Yeah. I was hallucinating. I was a little high. I'm like, am I here? What is going on? And so you were like, yeah, no, I hear that too. And I was like, thank God.
Yeah, no, that was...
What the fuck?
At a movie theater, y'all got to do better with your sound.
That's insane.
Yeah.
People are paying money for this. And you can't soundproof a room.
Yeah. And money...
Crazy.
It's no longer $7 to see a movie. It's $20. Put some more soundproofing.
Plus... snacks. Meg goes up to the counter and she's like, my snacks
gosh.
were $4.99 because I have my AMC Pass. And I go and I check out and I look at her and I go, $43.
Yeah. And what did you even get? I think
I got a medium popcorn, an icy, and a thing of candy.
Yeah. Mind you, I made a couple stops on my way to that theater because I was already a little buzzed up. So I went to the gas station.
You're like talking about driving all fucked up.
Okay.
No, she wasn't.
No, I wasn't.
Buzzed up.
No, I had like one drink before going to the movie.
She drove to the gas station.
Yeah, I went to the gas station. I got some snackies. But then as I was driving to the theater, I saw a Dairy Queen and I went, well, that sounds great. So I got a chicken strip basket. So I literally have a big tote. I'm sneaking in chicken strip basket, candy from the garage, the gas station. And then I feel like I think I took some like Diet Cokes, maybe some beers from home. And
it was a seltzer.
Oh, yeah.
A seltzer.
I had a seltzer
THC
from home.
seltzer. And I mean, a time was had. That's how you have to approach a movie theater, though. Like,
I'm shocked that I could even pull myself out of that movie. Other than that, the last thing I'll say is, do you remember meeting a YouTuber in Vegas?
No. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I do.
So I go to upload the last podcast episode, and I was like, why am I following Jackpot Johnny? Shout out Jackpot Johnny. But I was like, what the because it's the Cocktail Hour YouTube. Yep. And I was like, what is happening? And then it hit me. Nikki and I were sitting on Fremont playing a slot machine, and someone sits down with a whole ass tripod and their phone and is recording their play. And I go, oh, they must be a YouTuber. And I turn and we start chatting with them. They're like, yeah, we're Jackpot Johnny, whatever. So we follow them. I went to look at their account.
Oh, it's got to be crazy. I bet you Craig follows him.
I bet it's like 70. I think it was 70,000. It's either 7,000 or 70,000, which are definitely different. But like
great.
Thousands of followers. And I just sit there and I go, I am in the wrong job. I imagine if at 18, I started a YouTube channel with all of the slot machine play that I've done.
Oh, sorry, guys.
No, you're good. How many followers do they have? I'm curious.
75.7 thousand subscribers.
Isn't that crazy? I cannot imagine how much money they make off of YouTube.
30,000 views on the last 3 videos, 78,000, 50,000. And it's because mommy's out here, titties out.
She's looking cute. I wish I could have a YouTube channel of my casino endeavors, but not have to show my face, so no one knew it was me.
You can.
Here's the thing.
People do that all the time.
The accounts that I think are bigger, though, they're personality driven. I see Lady Luck all the time. She's a cutie patootie. She'll like pop up on my stuff. And so I feel like it's like the Foot Finder thing. If you show other things, you're a little bit more popular.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's true.
But anyways, shout out to those people who took their gambling addiction and turned it into more money. I'm pretty impressed by that, actually. And that's all I have, except for if you wanted to try to pick our Halloween thing, because we didn't get any submissions on categories. I think that we should just do a theme of like movies from this year.
Movies?
Yeah. It can be any movie, but it has to have come out this year.
What?
Oh, God, that's only because I know exactly what I would do.
Gladys. I know. What else would you do?
Damn it.
So now you can't
Sinners.
be that.
I was thinking like Haley Steinfeld, like that purple satin dress with like blood all down my chest.
You are the one who said no cute, no sexy costumes.
Okay, to be fair,
it has to be ugly.
It was going to be covered in blood. I wouldn't have my tatas out. It would be like that look that she had right after she ate
But that's
Michael B.
not
Jordan.
funny.
That's fair. Gladys would have been fucking funny, though. Like, if I could have surprised you with that one and you walked in, that would have been good.
That's the problem with me is I'm, like, too quick on the guessing here.
And we can't do, like, a Disney movie because I would definitely do Mulan and...
You cannot do that.
I would.
And who would you be?
Mulan.
Like,
I'd be a geisha. I think that'd be fun, actually.
I was thinking funny, like the Grinch or
be
Gru
Mushu.
or something like actually humorous, where like you have to really put a lot of effort into like making it look.
Yeah. I do actually have one that I think would be pretty funny, but I don't want to say it out loud.
Don't say it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Okay, but if you want to pick a category, I have to fit into the category.
No, just do it, and then I'll just do one too.
Okay. Let's just do that.
But
this will be our
if
first
it's not
year.
funny,
It'll be funny. It'll be funny.
Okay.
Is it going to be, one thing I'll say, is it like going to be movie related? Is it going to be fucking pop culture related? Is it?
I don't know that it matters, does it?
I mean, I guess not. Pop culture could be fun because then it's like, okay, I'm not going to do this, but like the Lorax would be something that I think would be funny.
That's a movie.
Oh, well, I was more thinking about the TikToker.
But the Lorax is a movie.
I know.
Like, what?
I suppose anything pop culture wise, they probably pulled from a movie. That's fine. That's fine. Okay, what about you, bitch? What have you been up to?
Not much. Can't really think of much other than drowning my life in stress.
Did you shoot this last weekend? Did we shoot together?
I worked on Saturday. I had a wedding by myself. We are working together this Friday and this Saturday. And then, I've been making a lot of coffee at home. We talked about this last episode because fucking TikTok would not let me change my name back on TikTok. So if anybody was tagging me, it was like a coffee tag. And I was like, bitch, let me post my coffee recipes on my actual coffee page and not change my name. When I tell you, I went to Starbucks because somebody graciously gave me a gift card. Thank you so much. Shout out Scott and Annalisa for the gift card. I went to Starbucks and got a brown sugar shaken espresso. No, it's not the same. And why would I pay $7.99 for a fucking brown sugar shaken espresso at Starbucks, which was disgusting to me after a while. But we'll still use the gift card. Obviously, super appreciative. I love that. I'm making my coffees at home. Yeah. I actually wake up in the morning now so excited. And the fact that I'm saving money, I'm not spending all this money on these motherfucking coffees.
The prices are insane. And I understand, like, things go up and whatever, but it's disgusting.
It's crazy. And that's for like a basic coffee. Yeah. I'm out here slanging coffees left and right that are flavored, have like different stuff. I think it's so fun, and I don't know, it's become a little bit of a creative outlet for me with everything that's just going on. And I'm making it sound like I'm dying or something too. I'm not. I just like things have been so busy with wedding season, and then the second it even semi starts to slow down wedding season wise, I feel like most people have sometimes the opportunity to like catch their breath. And sometimes I feel like I don't necessarily have that opportunity just because like I have a full house and, you know, Craig is working 72 hours a week right now. And so there's just a lot going on. I still haven't gotten a car, which I should do.
At this point,
I need to do. I just am being indecisive. I don't know what I want, which is the problem. But yeah, so making coffees at home has just been really fun. I absolutely love it. I started a new workout class, which it's on Tuesday evening, 6:30 to 7:30. I think you should join me.
I knew based on how you started that sentence, I could tell by your fucking face that you were going to be like, you can come with me.
You should.
What is it?
So it's a HIIT workout class, and it's for all levels of experience. Like I walked in. So what I do for workouts is sometimes I'll do Pilates, which is great. Sometimes I'll do, or all of the time, weekly, I will do my alpha classes, which is like a lot of weightlifting / cardio. This I'm excited for because I've never been more sore in my life.
Oh.
I can't walk, and it's all body weight HIIT workout. So like there's no weights. It's just a big group of women, and I'm supporting a small Black-owned business, which I love, women-owned.
Nice.
And
Is this at Lifetime?
It's in Minneapolis. It's right off Penn Avenue. So not far from here. It's probably less than 10 minutes from you.
Yeah.
My friend Callie from the hospital, who I've worked with, one of her longtime friends, her daughter started this like fitness program.
Mm-hmm.
It's called the Peach Project. It started last Tuesday, but basically it's HIIT workout, so high intensity interval training.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all body weight stuff. So like it's a lot of like, you know, you do 10 squats and then 10 lunges and then 10 lunges and then you do a different circuit. It's really fun, great music. Like, I don't know. It was a good time. And like I said, I'm excited because it's so different than anything that I do normally.
Yeah.
That I feel like it's going to have a big impact on my body. I'm sore.
Yeah.
In a good way.
Yeah, definitely like targeting things you don't always target.
And also because like when I do my workout classes at Lifetime, I can half-ass that shit and be like, I don't feel like doing this today.
Yeah.
This is a group environment where it's like, okay, I can't really pull that off here. If I stop doing it, like she would yell at me.
Yeah, she'll say something.
But it's really good. So if you're ever free on a Tuesday evening,
I'll
11K,
consider.
it's an 8-week program. So we just did the first week. So think about it.
Oh, well, especially because I'm going into like a not doing anything season.
Yeah.
At the end of this month I got 2 more weeks and then chillin'.
But not really. Like we say that as if we're actually going to be chilling.
I'm committed though. I am not going on a trip. Yes, I'm going to Vegas to get married. But other than that, I am sitting my ass in this house and I am revamping pricing guide, revamping website, blah, blah. Like I need to get my ducks in a row.
Me too.
So.
But I'm planning a trip. Like, I don't care.
Where are you going?
I'm not actually, and I'm not sharing. I'll tell you offline.
Okay. That's fair.
Anyway, the only other thing I finished a book. I'm halfway through another book. I started reading my last book, like physically reading the copy of it. And then I was like, okay, I don't have time to fucking read.
Yeah.
So Spotify has all the audiobooks though. Like
I was gonna say,
every audiobook you can imagine. Yeah. Spotify.
Audible
and I pay
is
for
a
Spotify.
game changer for me.
Yeah. So since I pay for my little Spotify, I'm like, cool. I'm just going to listen to this book. And I've finished 2 books so far. And I'm like, this is my new thing right now because it's just like a long podcast, like a long murder, mystery novel. It's just like a long podcast to me at this point.
Did I tell you that? So I am an Audible. I have a lot of books that I've been meaning to read. Like I have them in my basement. I can never just sit down unless it's the wintertime and read a whole ass book.
Me neither.
So I do a lot of Audible, but I do a lot of smut especially just to like get through, like it's shit to get through editing and stuff. Did I tell you that series that I told you about a long time ago that was like
the hockey one?
Yeah. So I get their most recent book because I'm like, again, it's just a nice, like I'm editing, it passes the hours really by, and I don't have to pay that close of attention to it. You can kind of get the gist of the story. I'm not going to listen to Demon Copperhead, like novel, whatever, because I really want to pay attention to that. So I'm listening, and I'm a few chapters in, and I go, I have not heard a single female, like, what's happening here?
Are they gay?
It is 2 men.
Love
and I go, okay, I can get on board with this. Here's where it lost me. Okay. One of the men is like, maybe not Russian. I don't know what he is. Okay. But he's something like really strong. No, he's Swedish. He's Swedish. Swedish accents are not sexy. And the guy's like, doing a Swedish accent.
The guy from Frozen. The guy in the...
So imagine that man saying things like, it hurts. Or like it describing first encounters in a male-to-male relationship in a Swedish accent. Nikki, the way I was laughing so hard, I had to turn the book off. I go, I can't do this. I wish that I would have read it, but now if I read it, I'm gonna hear it in my head in this guy's voice. I wish that I would have read it. I think it would have been an interesting read, something that I'm not familiar with in terms of the contents of the book. But I was just like, I feel like creative control, I feel like you should have just let him have a normal, like,
You know what's insane is that when you first started reading these smut books, I was like doing a road trip with my mom, and you go, oh my God, you need to play. Like, you guys should play the audiobook of this. Like,
Did you start it?
are you insane?
What?
The fact that you told me to listen to that in the car with my mom is fucking actually crazy. I then listened to it on my own.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I can't do a smut audiobook. I'm like, all I'm listening to is this narrator being like, and then he touched my thigh and my pussy was throbbing with a deep guttural ache. And then he spread me open and, oh my goodness, Jared, you stuffed me so good. And I'm like, I'm literally sitting there going, this isn't a book.
That is.
What?
Yeah.
This is audio porn.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of that, did you know there is an app?
Yes.
Where it's like,
yes.
And I think, what's his name? There's an actor.
Yes.
Oh, God, he's on Fleabag. I can't remember his name. But yeah, they have like a couple actors with sexy voices. I heard someone ask Austin Butler if he'd ever considered doing it. And he's like, yes. And I was like, baby boy, please.
Downloading that up so quick.
And the best part is I love my fiance, future husband, so much. I'll just like be intimate with him and I'll be playing that in the background.
You have your AirPods in with your hair over your ears.
And he's like, why do I hear Austin Butler in your
Because you're playing it full force, full volume, and it's just Austin Butler.
My tinnitus be damned. Oh, that's a really smart business idea, though.
Genius. Genius.
Yeah.
Gotta be millionaires.
Genius.
And I'm over here fucking, god damn. Anyway, that's it.
Really quick.
Sure.
Honeybook needs to get off my ass. I just got a notification. Your priority list. Get the day started with a short list of priorities based on your client emails, files, and project details. Leave me alone.
Literally,
I don't need you to tell me what I need to do today. I know what I need to do today.
Like, go away.
I need to edit today. I don't need an AI priority list from you. Anyways. Okay. Let's actually get into the point of this episode, which is gear. So we're going to talk a lot about film gear, but then let's kick us off with just talking about our current, like, just kit. What do we bring to a wedding day? What are we loving? Handing it off to you.
Well, we've already gone over, like, what we're bringing to a wedding day. Like, gear.
Give it really quick, like a just bullet point for anybody who missed it.
2 R6, 1 5D Mark IV, 28 to 70 2.0, 70 to 200, 85 35 50, 2 Godox V1s, a bunch of batteries, a bunch of SD cards.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Perfect. I would say for me now it'll be R5 Mark II, R6 Mark II, probably the other R6 Mark II as a backup. I really do want to use both of those cameras just on the pod and be able to set and forget them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I might do that. I lately have just been honestly bringing my Canon 1V for film. Like, I'm not packing 18 film cameras anymore. I don't fucking need that.
I would have bought that. I would have spent money I don't have to buy that.
Maybe that's why I didn't talk to you about it. But same with Nikki, 2 Godox V1s, batteries, whatever. In terms of accessories that you and I have purchased that were like, okay.
That we thought were good ideas initially, and I think this is a trap that people fall into often, is seeing things online that are maybe advertised or this or that. And to be completely honest with you, I have seen some creators or some photographers lately really pushing out ads. And the thing is the way that people push out ads can be really misleading. So if you're pushing out something that you're like, you know what I love in my business and blah, 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 and you're making it come across as just like a TikTok or a reel, like of something that you love, when in reality it's an ad. I don't love that because I do feel like it's very misleading, especially because I feel like it's not true. Like, you're not using it. Now, if you were like, hey, here's this thing, my tried and true product, I've been using it for fucking years and I love it, great. Like, I'll give an example. Maddie Waldo, shout out to Maddie Waldo, whatever. But she was talking about film on her TikTok, and she was like, yeah, this one film camera, like, the flash on it, I don't necessarily use, blah, 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 blah. Here's another one that I use religiously, and here are the photo examples from it, and I love it.
Yeah.
Like, invest in this. So when you bought a pair of Meta glasses, I was like, oh, these are so cool.
Yeah.
Let me try them. We were working a wedding together, and I was like, let me see these. And I was like, love them. I couldn't tell you where they are. And the amount of times that I wore them to a wedding, maybe once.
Yeah.
For the BTS.
I will say, I think they're more helpful, not helpful, but like, just as a civilian, I think I would like them more than a wedding photographer.
Yes,
like,
I agree.
Just like in my daily life, or taking videos of my fucking kids, or like be able to listen to music.
To stuff. That's what I like about them.
Yeah, that's super nice. But for a wedding day, the video quality is not great.
No.
Also, my camera's up at my fucking eye most of the time.
I'm
more of a viewfinder person a lot. So I'm just like, this doesn't work out for my workflow whatsoever. And at one point last fall, I have a Meta Glass video of me shooting, and I also have an iPhone attached to my camera. So it's like, I'm like
double duty.
And I was like, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah.
I just need to be a photographer.
Yeah.
Like, I need to calm down. The other one that I did get that I think is better than the Meta glasses, but I still don't feel like it's very seamless to use, is the DJI gimbal, like mini gimbal. That's just like a tiny little handheld camera.
I know what you're talking about, and I can't think of like the exact name for it either.
I'm gonna look it up because it's just gonna bother me if we don't actually call it what it's supposed to.
But it is the DJI gimbal, like Go
mini. Oh, we're both gonna be so annoyed with ourselves. DJI Osmo Pocket.
Yep. And
so
we even said that at the beginning before we even started filming. You were like, the Osmo Pocket. And I was like, yeah, the Osmo Pocket.
I've seen people use it for like vlogging and stuff. And I think that's super helpful. For me, the point of having it was to put it on top of my camera, because sometimes when I put my iPhone, the aspect ratio, it's so wide that it was catching the end of my lens.
Yeah.
And I really didn't like that. So with the Osmo Pocket 3, I could lay it down flat. So the lens of the camera, like my actual camera, and the lens of the Osmo Pocket 3 were more closer. So it wasn't catching that. That's why I wanted it. It's still not very seamless to use. And if the lighting's not perfect, it's not that great of
Which you think it would be good because it's the DJI and it was not cheap.
It's like $700.
That's crazy.
So so I have thought about it for like vlogging and stuff, but again, like, I don't fucking vlog. I don't take videos like that. And if I would, then I would probably just take them on my iPhone at this point.
And you made a good point. Like, I don't really want to be doing this during a wedding anyway. Like, I need to just focus on being a photographer.
Yeah.
The only time that I'll ever do BTS, which I've been doing a lot of lately, is during flat lay detail photos, because I think it's fun, and I think it's like that's something that people really struggle with, is like putting together a flat lay design. And so I think people enjoy watching like somebody else's process. And I'm not with like the couple, like I'm not impeding on the day or like interfering any moments.
Yeah.
I'm just recording myself being crazy, trying to like run through what I can do with people's details.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm actually thinking about this winter. I shouldn't say hosting, because like I don't want people there besides myself and you. But going to the Whim and doing like 5 different flat lay setups, and really like taking time and taking a breath to figure out, how would you do this? Like, what looks best? Because you know me, on a wedding day, if we're working together, I look at you and I'm like, please do this. Because there's a lot of things I'm great at, but I have learned quickly about myself things that I'm not great at, or things that this is such a, I bring up any chance I can with Beyonce. People rag on Beyonce for like, she doesn't write all her own songs. And I go, yeah, maybe that's because she sees the talent around her and goes, hey,
let's tap into that.
She credits people on her songs for clapping. Okay. Like,
and pays them fucking
yeah.
bucks.
Anybody who breathes in the room when a song's being made, she credits. But I do think there's something to be said about that, and that's CEOs too. You never want to be the smartest person in the room. Like, you want to surround yourself with people who are really great at what they do. Whatever. So all that to say, I try not to get down on myself and be like, oh, my flat lace, because at the end of the day,
it's such a small part of
it's such a small part, but it is a skill to be
Mhm.
honed, and it's a skill to be practiced. So I just thought to myself, I really would like to work on that this year, just because, you know, I know that's off topic from what we're talking about, but
it is a skill. Like, it is
Yeah.
something that's really hard to have to figure out how to throw stuff together,
Yeah.
because you don't really know what you're getting, and you can give your couple a list of like, hey, here's what I would love if you could provide me,
Mhm.
but you don't always get that.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you don't get that, it's like, okay, how do I incorporate some of the things that maybe I've brought or that I have in my kit that can elevate this and make it so that it's nice for the couple. And not only is it nice for the couple, but then it's stressing you out a little bit less to be like, I don't know what to do. Like,
Well, and there are photographers who will now do it before the wedding,
which I love.
But also typically with those, to my knowledge, correct me if I'm wrong, but they don't have like the rings and stuff, because you're not going to take someone's rings, right?
I have.
Well,
I've had people come to my home and drop stuff off for me.
and I would love that.
Yeah.
But like, let's say you don't have the rings, or you do, but like, then the florals, like, do they have florals yet? Do they want those incorporated? So it's just like, there's extra levels of,
you got to like arrange that.
yeah.
Like,
yeah. So,
it's
okay, not only am I going to get the details from you, but then I'm going to go maybe to the florist and get
Yeah.
like some blooms. It's a whole thing, which I would love if I did 10 to 15 weddings a year.
right.
But 40
And
weddings a year.
charged for it. Like, if you're
Exactly.
charging for an at-home flat lay setup so that more time can be dedicated to your wedding on the day of, that's great.
Yeah.
You got to find the couples who are willing to pay for that, which I know that they're out there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you just
But-
have to like hone in on that market.
Agreed.
And the only reason I had somebody bring their rings to my house was because they gave me all of their detail stuff, and there was a big fat diamond in there, so I'm photographing it thinking it's the bride's ring, right?
Yeah.
The engagement ring, because it was in the ring box. No, it was her grandma's ring. So when I went to go give her stuff back, I realized she still had her engagement ring on, and
And
I
you're
went,
like, ah.
okay, we're gonna have to talk about this.
Yeah.
Can you guys bring? And they were like, totally fine. So happy to do that. Not a big deal. But yeah, the whole time I thought I was like using her ring and his ring.
At the end of the day, I would have been like, this is the ring you gave me.
I thought
I'm
it
not
was great.
retaking- Yeah, I'm not retaking this. I had that situation once where I was shooting a wedding. The dress, like, I was in a hotel room with like the grooms and all the guys getting ready, but the dress was in there too. This was like a pretty low-key situation. The bride was getting hair and makeup done at a salon nearby, so I went to go shoot the dress. There's a white dress in the closet, and I grabbed it. She did not wear a white dress on her wedding day.
Okay.
It was like a floral dress. So when she comes to the hotel room and gets changed and she walks out of the bathroom, I go,
Oh,
that was not the dress that I shot. And she goes, it's literally totally fine.
which is so nice.
Yeah, it was so nice that she wasn't like, well, let me take this shit off so you can, you know.
Yeah, like redo the whole
whatever.
thing.
But so specifically this says, would love a gear update, what you're loving, what's worth the investment, what you wish you didn't get, best way to get behind the scenes, how you had me film. I don't know what that means. Digital video, BTS and everything. Okay, that's a lot, but here's what I'll say. We talked about what's maybe not worth the investment. I think if you're going to get behind the scenes, your phone is honestly probably the best bet.
It
It's
is.
just get a little hot shoe, like phone mount.
Attachment.
Don't get, there's like a really cheap plastic one that I see everybody has. There's a small rig metal one that I got that holds your phone so tight I can barely get it off there.
We'll link it in the show notes.
Yeah, we'll link it in the show notes. But also what I've done is it never stays, like, it's not meant, I think, to get so stuck on the top of your camera. So what I've started doing is I have like, it's called gaffer's tape, but just like not a duct tape, not just like a paint tape, a black one, and I will wrap it
Like
around a little
electrical
bit.
tape.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
little bit. Like I will wrap that around just to like secure it in place. Because if your camera's up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, and your, you know, phone's on top of it, I just was having a situation where my phone kept dropping a lot.
Yeah.
And I was like,
which makes
okay,
sense.
yeah.
Also really quick on the BTS stuff of people asking, I just want to throw something out there really quick. I have had second photographers ask me in the past, like, do you want me to get some BTS of you? And I'm like, sure, that's
Yeah.
great. However, as a lead photographer, I don't think it's appropriate to ask your second to be like,
Yep.
hey, can you just make sure you're getting some iPhone footage of me or some BTS of me, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
First of all,
That's a different job.
I was going to say that's not what you're hiring them for. It's not their responsibility throughout the day. If anything, I would much rather I would prefer it if they just focused on the wedding and not the BTS. So if you are a second listening to this and you want to offer that, I think that's really kind and great, especially if there's downtime and you feel like you can do your job as a second photographer while also getting some BTS. That's amazing.
Yeah.
However, as a lead photographer, I think it's very unprofessional to ask somebody to do something that is not within the scope of responsibility of the job that you've hired them for.
Yeah, hire a content creator if that's what you want.
Yes.
Yeah.
So.
And also, I don't want that to impede on what you're doing.
Exactly.
Your job is photography. I don't need you on your iPhone the whole time. I actually had that conversation with an ex-friend of mine who asked me to do that. And I looked at her and I was like, no,
it's not my job.
I'm here to photograph, and it was a whole thing. Speaking of,
it's not my job.
Why are you so obsessed with me? Here's what I'm gonna say is just my little petty moment quick before we continue. If I have you restricted on my Instagram account, which means my stories don't pull up for you,
and
I still see you seeing my stories, hey girl, how you doing? Anyways, okay. So we got some film questions.
I want to read through this really quick just to make sure we're covering that specific question. We covered the BTS for sure. And I think basically what we'll say what's not worth the investment is all of the other BTS stuff that we've talked about. It, at least for us, it has just not worked out for us. It might work for others. And it could be worth a try for you. But what is worth the investment is going to be really reputable gear, making sure that you are continuing to invest in your camera gear to provide your clients with the best quality and product. And then what we covered on a previous episode was the SD cards, making sure that you're getting the black
128 or more,
128 gigabyte make sure that the MBs are 170 plus.
Yeah.
It needs to be higher than 170, for sure. Yeah. And they do sell them on Amazon for $20. $20. So
yeah,
I would
it's
just
not
really
incredibly expensive.
Yeah.
I just saw a girl not snapped at me, but someone posted a video oh my gosh, my cards keep corrupting. And I was like, how is this happening? Because I've seen this happen once and it wasn't even a full card. So I don't quite understand how people are having full cards getting corrupted. So I commented and I was like, I'm just concerned, are people not formatting or what's happening? And then someone responded back to me and said, well, oh, no, I said, are people just using the same cards over and over again? You kind of got to spread the wealth in terms of how much you're shooting these cards. And someone commented and said, when you're spending $110 per card and you're using 6 to 8 per wedding day, it's really hard to buy more. And I go,
how are you using 6 to 8 cards on a wedding day?
I said, respectfully, if you buy
what the fuck?
a 128, 170 or maybe 200, megabytes per second, whatever, and that holds 5,000 photos on a normal camera, 2,500 photos on a high resolution camera.
Insane.
How are you going through 6 to 8? Also, those are $20.
That's insane.
Yeah, and
why are you going through 6 to 8?
No. Oh, what she said was that she will shoot a portion of the day and then put them away and then start fresh on the next section. So if anything corrupts, she doesn't lose the entire wedding day. And I was like,
it sounds like it's corrupting anyway.
Yeah, I was like, that's the craziest thing I've ever heard. But anyway. you do you, boo-boo. And that's coming from someone who has so many SD cards that I could drown in them.
Yeah.
But I'm like, that's a lot to do on one wedding day, to be swapping out your cards.
No.
If anything, that seems more dangerous, to be swapping them in and out in it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Your card may not corrupt, but what if somebody spills on it? What if you lose it?
Yeah.
What if you misplace it? What are you doing?
Too much. Sometimes you're doing too much. Okay. So this next question is: film just a fad, or do you think it's here to stay? I've spoken with other non-photographer sorry. When you scroll,
sorry.
No, you're
bad.
good. I was like, what happened?
My bad.
I've spoken with other non-photographer wedding vendors, and they have sounded really bummed out to see grainy and dark film photos in a gallery they receive from different photographers. Do you feel across the board in the industry that film photographers are being consistent enough in what a film quote unquote add-on means to them? Some folks are film wizards and others are using disposable cameras. Where does the line need to be drawn around offering film as an option if you haven't mastered film photography?
To start, I don't think film is a fad. I think
Agreed.
film has been around for centuries,
Yeah.
literally. Like, it's,
I don't know if centuries.
whatever.
Yeah,
I make shit up on this
you mean.
podcast all of the time. Like, I could be lying about anything
Actually,
at any given time. But
is a century 100 years?
yes, bitch.
Then you're right.
I know.
You're right. Sorry. For some reason I was like, century sounds
like
really long.
17,000 years ago.
Yeah.
No, but film has been around forever.
Yeah.
And it is a medium that people love and adore. And like this post says, people really take the time to learn and master and understand it. So I don't think it's a fad. I think it's been around forever. Just because it's popping off in the wedding industry suddenly doesn't mean that it's a quote unquote photo related fad.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a wedding fad right now that people are really picking up on, and I think people are taking advantage of that and not in a good way. Yeah. I do think that there are some photographers who are like, oh my gosh, film is taking off. Let me jump on the bandwagon really quickly and not necessarily learn it the way that I should, but offer it in a way that is making me more money and is not producing the best product.
Yeah.
And
Agreed.
I don't agree with that.
Agreed. I think that there are people out there who are so good at film that you can barely decipher between their film and their digital. I think that there are people who are pretty good at film who like they're professional photographers. They, you know,
you can figure it out.
You can figure it out. Like, give me an hour with a YouTube video. I'll figure out how to use the camera and like, it'll be fine. There are people who are having film cameras and like, they're like, yeah, I'm a professional photographer. I'm, you know, charging for this, but like, I don't quite know what I'm doing. And then there are people who are using disposable cameras or
which
editing.
Is crazy. I've never heard of the disposable cameras as a kind of quote unquote film.
Yeah. Like charging people for that. Yeah. Or they're editing their photos to look like film. I don't know who needs to hear this, but no, they don't. They don't look like film. I know you added some green and you made it look a little green. It doesn't look like film. It looks like trash. In my humble opinion.
Hate a film edit necessarily if it's done the right way and you're not trying to sell it as if you were actually taking film photos.
Yeah. What I will say though, the next part of this, so I agree with Nikki. I don't think it's a fad. Let's say it's a planner who's upset that there were some like dark grainy photos. Well, number one, I hope that the film's not dark. Like if it's shot appropriately, your film is somewhat viable. Like you can tell what's in the photo. It's not like unusable. Right. It may not be the planner's vibe, but if the couple asks for it, it's the couple's vibe. And that's all that matters. So those lists of film photographers I gave, whatever the couple sees in their work, as long as you are comfortable with what they're producing as quote unquote film, it's on the couple at that point. Like they're looking at something, they like it, they want to buy it, or they want to pay for it.
Their gallery.
It's their gallery. It's not the other vendor's gallery. So that is definitely something where I go, well, I
get it.
I feel worse for planners when they get a whole gallery, not just 35 photos, but when they get or 36 exposures, when they get a full gallery of work that they don't want to use because the editing style is so different from what they like. Well, I feel worse for you there, but getting a roll or two of film in a gallery, that doesn't hurt you at all.
Which also, just a reminder for everybody, a roll or two of film is going to be even half typically of what a full roll is. So like you're really banking on, 15, 20 of these photos turning out and being usable because it's film. It's not just digital. You can't
like if
look
someone
back
walks
at
in front of your frame, there's nothing you can do about that photo.
Right.
Yeah. Agreed. And what I was about to say, I'll talk about a little bit later. But do you feel across the board in the industry that film photographers are being consistent in what a film add-on means to them? No. Probably not, but also to each their own.
Yeah.
I used to charge per roll, and now I just include it. It's just because I know I'm going to shoot it.
Right.
I know I'm going to shoot it. So
anyway,
I'm like, I'm going to include it in my pricing because I'm not going to be like, well, this couple said 2 rolls and this couple said 3 rolls. And it's like, that, to me,
it makes it more complicated.
Agreed. But if you're not shooting a lot of film and it is one of those things where it's like, hey, if I'm going to invest in these roles, I'm going to charge per role because I know I'm not going to edit a lot of them, or I know that I'm not going to shoot a lot of it. I could understand charging per role. But again, that comes down to couples are looking at your investment guide. They're making the decision on what works for them, their budget, their needs. That's like saying our photographer's package is consistent.
No, yeah. It depends on the person. It depends on the photographer. And also film is expensive. Like film is an expensive even hobby to have. Like it is not something that is just cheap. Film is very expensive, and there's a lot of money that goes into different pockets of like how you're investing in film and how that turns out. So I don't know.
Agreed. Last part of this, also, this is a great submission, so thank you whoever put this in here. Where does the line need to be drawn around if offering film is an option if you haven't mastered film photography yet?
Good
so
question.
It's a really great question, but I'm going to throw that back at where's the line if you haven't mastered photography in offering wedding photography? Everybody starts somewhere, right? So I try to keep that in mind, as long as I don't feel like you're grifting or like that you're a grifter, that you're
taking advantage of others.
You're knowingly putting out like, oh, here's like 2 good film photos I took in 10 rolls. I'm now going to charge $200 per roll. Like, you know when you're doing something shady. You just know it. So know that shit comes back around. That's bad, juju to put out into the world.
Yep.
But if you're knowingly going out and saying, hey, I'm newer at film, I'm offering it at a cheaper rate, or I'm offering it for free just to get, content and practice and stuff. Like, talk to your couples, and we've talked about that before. Be honest with your expert level or lack of. Just, there are couples out there who are like, hey, I want film, but I don't want to pay a ton for it. There are people who are like, no. I want only film, and I'm happy to pay for it. Just depends on the client.
And here's the thing. We have talked about this before, but like the wedding that I shot in January in Mexico, the couple loves film. She shoots on film. She does a lot of film photography. So guess what? I shot the whole day, hybrid, film, digital. Guess what? Those are some of my favorite photos that I've ever taken. They turned out beautiful. And also, guess what? I told them beforehand, and I tell anybody who asks me this about film, I do shoot personally for my personal life, for fun, on my film camera. I do that. So it's not like I don't have any knowledge of film.
Yeah.
But do I shoot a full wedding day on film typically? No. Is it doable? 100%. But do you have to pay for that then? Yes. Because it's a complete different level of investment then than just approaching a day from a digital mindset.
Yeah. And it's not even the financial investment on your part, but the mental.
No, literally, like your approach is completely different. You have to completely weigh out when, where, what it is that you're doing, both or just one, or strictly like it's very different and it's a lot to think about.
Agreed. Okay, another submission. So these are all separate submissions around film. So I want to get into film. How can I start? I said this on the last episode. I don't want you to go out and buy a $5,000 film camera. It will be overwhelming. You're going to spend a lot of money on film, and you're going to be spending a lot of money on film practicing and trying to get good. I've wasted so much money. It's gross. What I would recommend is go out and get a 35 millimeter film camera. And I'm not talking about... So, like, I like an Olympus Mijou or whatever. Like, I like a point and shoot, but there's no effort that takes. So, if you want to get into film photography, I wouldn't... That's not going to teach you nothing.
No, that's like using a disposable, pretty much.
So, I want you to go get a Canon AE1 or something equivalent. Nikon, Minolta, I'm sure... Well, I don't know if Sony has any, like, old film cameras or really new film camera. But, like, go get something... like that, like a Canon AE1. If you look at it, like, it's kind of a brick shit house. Like, it's like a brick. I love how it feels in my hand. But get something like that where you can practice on focusing, where you can practice on light metering, where you can practice on, like, it is a little bit more mechanical is what I would recommend. And go buy the cheapest fucking film stock you can find. I actually, like, maybe not like a Lomo, but I love a Kodak. Kodak just came out with Kodacolor 100 ISO and Kodacolor 200 ISO, which I'm pretty sure just repackaged
I
of
love
other
it.
film stocks. But that's what I would do. I would go just start walking around your neighborhood. I would bring the camera out to family, endeavors, or like you're hanging out with your partner, whatever, but just start taking photos, get used to, light meter, or like, why am I like blanking on what I'm trying to say?
I don't know.
Because I keep wanting to say exposure. I feel like I'm going to cut this out because now I'm getting annoyed with myself. But like, you want to be able to meter external light meter, internal light meter. Does the Canon AE1? I think it has an internal.
It does have an internal light meter.
Okay, that's totally fair. But I just don't want you to go out and spend a ton of money. Get used to it. You can also
play
rent.
around with it and take it absolutely everywhere.
Yeah.
That's what I did when I started playing with my AE1. I literally just bought a bunch of film off Amazon. It was the Kodak. There was a 200 and a 400.
Yeah.
And when we say 200 and 400, that's like the exposure level, I believe, of the
ISO
of the actual film. So I just played around with it. I bought a bunch of that film. It's cheaper, it's not the Portra 400. Like, you're not buying these like fancy, nice film rolls because you don't need to, because you're just shooting everything. Like, I literally was photographing my dogs, taking it everywhere. I took it to Europe with me. I've just like really played with it absolutely everywhere that I can, just to see how it shoots in different lighting situations, how it does, it's just repetitive behavior is really good too with it, because then you can learn like, okay, well, now I know that in a darker setting, I can do this, or in a lighter setting, I can do this. And I like the way that this film shows up, and I like the way that this shows up.
Yeah.
Like, you really just have to play with it.
There's also worksheets. And I'm going to read the next submission and then I'll go into this because it's almost the exact same thing. Where do I even start with film? What camera, what film, how do settings work? There's a worksheet that I got, it was like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago when I first started shooting film, where literally it'll have boxes 1 through 36, because there's different, there's 36 exposures in a film roll typically, where you literally will go to take a picture, write down what settings you are using, literally write those in. And then you do that for all 36 exposures, so that when you look at the film roll, you can look back at your settings and go like, okay, what worked, what didn't work.
Yep.
A lot of these cameras do have internal light meters, which means if you put your camera up to your eye, it'll tell you like, this is way overexposed, this is underexposed, and here it is properly based on you changing the settings, much like our actual cameras do. It just doesn't change. The image in your viewfinder is not going to change as you change settings, but you want to pay attention to your light meter and when it says that it's properly exposed. The hard thing to even explain on the podcast, though, is like, if you are shooting up at an open sky and you're trying to get a subject, but the sky is really bright behind them, or it's really backlit, it's going to throw your light meter off a little bit. So that's where the practicing comes in of like, okay, do I need to underexpose? Do I need to overexpose? But at the end of the day, it's just like Nick said, it's about practicing. Get out with your film camera. But I do think one of the most helpful things for me was writing down my settings as I was going, walk around your neighborhood to really figure out like, oh, I like how that looks. And I actually exposed one more step over. Like, I overexposed the image and I like that a little bit, or I underexposed, because it's not just about what's right and wrong. It's about what you like your images to look like, I think is important to call out. Okay, I don't love this question because I don't like my answer. On average, how much do you spend on buying and developing film for one wedding? Okay, that's better. I thought I was just going to say how much overall. For one wedding, I probably shoot 2 to 3 rolls of film just naturally. So you think it's $20 per roll to buy. It's another $10 per roll to just develop. So it's $30 per roll. It would be more if I was having the film lab scan and, edit the film, which I'm not. If you were to do that, you're probably looking at $40 to $50 per roll of film, all said and done, if you were having a film lab. And I mean, you might be able to speak to that more on like what that costs.
I was trying to look up and see if I could find it
like
a receipt
from Fast Photo.
Yeah, from Fast Photo.
But I think you could expect, if you're shooting like a Portra 400, expect to spend upwards of $50 per roll for film and development and getting the scans back, which is not terrible, but like that's why we're charging for it, because it does, not only is that the cost out of your pocket, okay? Then you have to think about the time and energy it's taking to shoot film on wedding day and have that back and forth between digital and film. And then also, like, you're possibly editing those film scans as well a little bit, getting them uploaded to the gallery. It is adding extra time as well.
It's a lot more time.
Yes.
Like, it's not, yeah.
Yeah. So that's why people are charging a premium for film if they charge per roll, because it's not only money out of their pocket, but it's also time.
Quick thing, which
Yeah.
like maybe we can talk about when there's the question of like, what's your film lab? When you go to Fast Photo, if you were not scanning your own film, what would you tell them upon dropping off? Because there are different options, and I think people don't realize that when you drop off a roll of film, there are different options that you are given on how to receive your film or how you get your film back. And I think that's really important, because if you are a newbie, you wouldn't necessarily know what to say or how to receive your film back.
Yeah, really great question. So when I would go into a film lab, you just bring your rolls of film, and your options are regular scans or pro scans. Pro scans means that the film lab is typically going to edit them a little bit. Like, if you have something that clearly can be adjusted slightly to make the image better, they're going to fix that. And then you also have different sizes: small, medium, large. I don't know if they have extra large, but small, medium, large, which means that's the resolution of the scan that you're getting. So typically, like, a professional photographer would want the best resolution. I want the pro scans because I want it to be like colors to be fixed, exposure to be fixed if possible. So with that being said, though, the largest scans are a bit pricey. I can't remember what it is per roll. I remember that the medium scans, I think, were like $15 or something like that. So you take in your roll, let's say it was $20, and then you ask for, let's say, medium scans, which are about $15 extra, and then pro, which might be even more, you know what I mean? And then the developing of it, I don't know if they include the cost of developing in the $15 or if it's a different $8 charge.
I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah. But the short answer was I used to ask for medium pro scans. And then I would have them sent to my email, and then I would pick up the negatives. Now, for those of you who want to scan your own film, I go in, I ask for develop only, do not cut, because I'm feeding them through, like, as I scan them at home, I am feeding them through a little device. If they were cut into little 4 or 5 slides, that would take forever, and it would be really hard to get them in there. So I like one long negative that I can, slide through this little device and go from there. And it takes Fast Photo, shout out in Bloomington.
So fast.
Yeah, I dropped off film yesterday at 2 p.m. and they called me by 4 p.m. to pick it up. Because I'm doing develop only, they're not having to do anything to the film. They just are doing the chemical process of it. So love them. Okay, built-in flash or external flash for film. Any recs on flashes if external is the move? This really depends on the camera that you're using. I will say, though, that my Canon 1V, which is a 35 millimeter, which is a very common film camera, I pop just my Godox 1V on top. Direct, you're good to go. But I have tried the Godox Lux Junior on it as well, and it worked great. The biggest flash tip that I have is make sure you start and look up what is your sync speed for flash. Every film camera sometimes is different. A lot of times it's 1/60, but you need to go look up your flash sync speed. See if your camera and if your flash is TTL compatible, or if you are going to have to manually do flash, which does add a whole other level to the flash game. But I'm typically shooting TTL. Sorry, I'm going to keep going on these just because I know I can answer these directly. Have you noticed a huge difference in scanning your own film versus scanning at a lab? 100%. And I hate to say that. I love labs. There's a lot of great labs. I like to have a lot more control over my scans. I also have a really, really big camera that I do a lot of my scans on, or I have a really great flatbed scanner that I do a lot of my scans on. I like being able to get my film borders, and I like the largest resolution possible without having to pay $30 per roll. What's your favorite film camera that you've used? You like the 1V? Sorry to sell it out from under you.
That's okay.
I like the 1V too, though. I was having this conversation with another photographer. It almost feels like you're not shooting
It's
film.
like a digital camera, basically.
Yeah, it feels so DSLR in your hands.
It is.
It really is.
It actually is.
Yeah, so it feels very natural. I'm sure there's equivalents for other brands, but we like the Canon 1V. And then for medium format, I shout out the Mamiya 7 II is my go-to, which is a big reason I sold a ton of my film cameras, because a lot of them I've purchased and then I use them a couple times and then they just sit on the shelf, and that's not fair to the cameras.
Yeah.
They deserve a good home. And very often right now with film cameras, you're able to sell them at what you bought them for, if not more.
Yep.
So it was a decent enough investment for me to sell them and not lose out on money.
Do you use a light meter? Well, you'd leave the next one for last because it's a bigger question.
That's fair. I do for some cameras. The Canon 1V I don't, because it's internal. The viewfinder is really easy to see, like, is this exposed properly? Is it not? Like, the light meter in camera works great. But I do have a couple cameras that do not have an internal light meter. And I have to, like, my Hasselblad, the waist level viewfinder, it is all mechanical. There's not a battery in that thing. So I have to use a light meter. I prefer a light meter externally, I have to be honest, but sometimes it's just really hard to do on a wedding day. But I would always just like strap it to my belt. And if you are using a light meter, my personal preference is to meter for the shadows. And what I mean by that is when you go to take a reading on your light meter, don't put it, like, let's say the sun is on your model's face or your bride's face, whatever, couple's face. Don't meter it up in the sun. Meter it down where there's a bit of a shadow, because then your film is going to be a tiny bit overexposed, which I think just works better or looks better. And film has so much dynamic range that, like, you could be a couple stops overexposed and it still looks phenomenal. You're not like blowing out the image like you would a digital photo. So yeah, I love a light meter. I think I have the Sekor, Sekor. So last one, how do you balance film and digital in a session/wedding day? I find myself always forgetting to use film and kicking myself afterwards. How did you feel like that went at Hayden Kirby? Like, was it top of mind?
Here's the thing. If somebody is paying for it, that's different than if you're just like, oh, I'm just bringing my film camera to a wedding day. Like, if somebody is paying for it, then it is your serious job to prioritize making sure that you have that balance. So for me, it's like, okay, if I just want to mess around with film on a wedding day and I'm like, oh, I want to shoot this in film because I think it would look great. If I forget it, that's fine. However, if somebody is paying for film and you are hired to shoot hybrid or you are hired to shoot film on a wedding day, then I think like it is strictly your job to always have that film camera be top of mind, because shooting digital is what is normal to us on a wedding day, and shooting film might not necessarily be the norm. So I think it's important to almost over prioritize the film, because it's going to fall to the back of your mind naturally, because shooting digital is what you're so used to.
Yeah.
It's like literally, I don't know.
It's just second nature.
It's like starting a car. Yeah. It's like riding a bike. It's second nature. So shooting digital is second nature. So that's the one that kind of needs to be like, okay, let me put this one on the back burner a little bit and really prioritize the film over it. And that's how I've gotten through it, is because you really have to remember, like, client experience is great and one thing. Also, these people are they're paying clients. Yeah. Like, they're paying for a service, and you need to make sure that you're providing that service no matter what. Agreed. No matter how forgetful you might get or be, that is your job.
Yeah. And I think a couple tips that I have that people didn't quite ask about, but number one, you need to talk to your couple about what expectations to have around film. Yeah. So I tell people, because a lot of people ask during consultations, how do you prioritize film, or where do you like to use it and whatever. I'm not going to take a film photo of your first kiss, up at the altar, unless you're kissing for just a very long time. That's on digital. I need to get that shot.
Unless you have a second photographer who you can hand a film camera,
which I have done to Nikki. Yes. I've literally given her a film camera.
I think it's important to say that, like, you can have that.
Yeah.
but we need to plan accordingly for that.
Agreed. Because it's just those quote unquote hero images, if you will. I'm not going to chance a roll of film, not maybe, I don't know, going through a scanner. I don't know. But so having those expectations of, for film, I like to do a lot of candids. I will grab a couple portraits while we're doing portraiture. But it's not going to be something that I'm just on film all day.
Right.
Because what if something happens to the film? And I say that as someone who literally hired film-only photography for my wedding or for my elopement. Like, what if something happens? But I don't want to leave it up to chance. Now, another thing is you should have film clause in your contract that talks about not the dangers of film. Like, I don't want it to sound like, the movie Anaconda, like you're just scary all the time. But I don't know where that came from.
I don't either.
I don't know.
Okay.
That's okay. We're going with it. But I don't want people to be scared of film, but I do want them to understand that, like you said, it's been around for centuries.
No, literally.
Literally.
It's a risk.
It is. It really
and a reward.
is. You could send it to a very reputable lab, and for some reason, an employee accidentally drops it. I don't know. Like, something could happen.
Anything could happen.
Funny enough, actually, a photographer who I love in the Twin Cities, she sent me a picture. I think she sent in like 10 or 20 rolls. The FedEx truck like dropped it and ran over it, or like something happened. The lab sent her a photo of the film. It was crushed when it got to them. Crushed. So it's things like that where I go, also, that's why I don't send it out, because that makes me so nervous. There are amazing labs across the country that you could mail film to.
Absolutely not.
It makes me so nervous. So anyways, anything could happen. So what I say is, in the clause, I have something that says, like, if something does happen, I will reimburse you the film up to the cost that I had to film cost. Like, I'm not going to buy 10 rolls of film, and if something happens to them, then I'm just out all of that money. But you need to make sure people feel good about it. Also, something that I do is on HoneyBook in contracts, I put a little initials section at sections that I need them to read.
Yes.
Do not just scroll through a contract. No, I need you to read this section about film. I need you to read this section about Super 8 or whatever, and initial it.
And let me know that you've agreed to this.
Yes. Otherwise, it does make me nervous that if something happens to someone's film, they're going to come back and be like, well, the contract's so big, I didn't read through it, which I get. I don't read through everything. So I make it a point. Oh, I don't.
Which is insane. Not always, but like specifically with business contracts, I will.
You're like line by line.
Or let me run this through ChatGPT. Hey, chat, what do I need to know? What are some red flags?
What's sus about this?
What's a little sussy?
But the last tip that I have is, if you are really worried about, like, shit, I'm gonna miss shooting any film, look at the
charge.
Well, that, but look at the timeline. And during portraiture, I want you to literally put it on the timeline.
Yep.
During your couples photos, I want you to say, oh, okay, 45 minutes of couples photos. Take out 10 minutes from the time and then do another line right underneath that says, for 10 minutes, film photos. Yes, like, just because that way you go, oh yeah, it's on I'm looking at my phone, it's on the timeline. Now it's time for the couples portraits. If you don't feel confident enough to like quick draw McGraw, both cameras back and forth, which is totally understandable,
but that's
you will
another
get used
thing
to it
too. Make sure that bitch is on your body.
Yes.
Because if you set it, you will forget it. You set that camera down, you will 100% forget that you brought a film camera with you for the day, until you look at it at the end of the night and you go, holy shit, I cannot believe I forgot to pick that film camera up all day. You said it, you're going to forget it. Make sure that it is on your body. If you have a 2-strap holster and you normally carry 2 digital cameras, great. Get a fanny pack for your film camera specifically, which is what I started doing. I have a massive fanny pack that is specifically for cameras, but I strapped it across my chest and I put the film camera in there so that I always remembered that it was on me.
Agreed.
Because if you put it down, I guarantee you, I promise you, as somebody who has done this, not for a paying couple, but as somebody who's done this, who was like trying to be really intentional about shooting film one day.
Yeah.
No.
Wedding days get away from you.
Absolutely not. There's enough to focus on already. And if that is not your norm, if you are not strictly a hybrid photographer or strictly a film photographer, you will forget about it.
It's the same sentiment of like, I tell my couples, they'll be like, well, I kind of want this shot with like these couple people from college, but like we don't need to like put it down on a list. And I go,
no, you do.
If it's not on the list, be ready for it not to get got. Not because I just am, lackadaisy on wedding days, but because wedding days get away from you.
Yep.
They're over before you know it. There's so much going on. So yeah, make it a point. Talk to your couples about expectations, not only in what's captured, but like make sure they've looked at your film photography, not just film photography, but your film photography. Are they comfortable and they like what they're seeing consistently produced? Because to be honest, I see a lot of film photography that's clearly underexposed. It's very muddy, but some people like the look of that. And you know what? Good on them. Do whatever you want. I don't care. Yeah. But make sure your couples have an understanding of what you're going to produce. Make sure that you have a contract clause around that so people are not coming after you for refunds if something happens with the film. And then 3, if you need to, parse out time on a wedding day. I've done that to this day now. Like I will still have sections sometimes where I know a couple really loves film photography. So I go, okay, let's put a line item in the schedule to make sure, or like the backdrop situation that we're doing, I'm trying to put that into the timeline now so I know like, hey, we have section, whatever sectioned out, if you will, for backdrop stuff. Anyways, that was a lot. Good questions, guys.
That was a 2-hour episode.
Hell yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
I mean, it might be close.
No, because I got here at 7:10.
That's fair. But we started we didn't like.
Oh my gosh! Wait, yeah, 2 hours.
That's 2 hours. I bet it was like an hour and 50 minutes.
Well, let's see.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say we can peek over.
Oh, 2 hours. 2 hours on the nose.
You guys should be
crazy.
If you think what we say in the pod is a little crazy sometimes, you should hear the stuff I cut out of the pod. Number one, we typically yap in the beginning. Like I hit record and we'll yap before we even get started. But then also sometimes, there are things we say on the...
We got to sign off. I'm going to start gagging.
Don't do that.
We got to go.
Okay, guys. Thanks for joining this cocktail hour. Don't forget to subscribe, review the pod wherever you listen. Make sure that you are watching YouTube at the end of the month. We are back. We will be in costume.
I lost my line item here, but follow along with us on Instagram at cocktailhour.podcast and submit your stories or questions to the link in our bio. It's all anonymous.
Love you, bye.
Love you, bye.